The morning began with a biting chill, the kind that makes your lungs ache with every breath. In the remote Norwegian highlands, four friends, Mark, Emma, Leo, and Sophia, stepped onto the frozen landscape, their boots crunching loudly against the thick blanket of snow. The sky was pale, with hints of soft pink and gold, where the sun barely pierced the heavy morning clouds. Snow-covered mountains stretched endlessly in all directions, their peaks glittering under the pale light, almost blinding in their brilliance. The friends were bundled in heavy winter gear, their breath visible in frosty clouds. They laughed and joked as they walked, but a quiet tension lingered in the air, a sense that this vast wilderness was alive and watching. Emma carefully unfolded her tripod, positioning it to capture the vast expanse, while Mark adjusted his camera settings, capturing the brilliant contrast of snow and sky. Leo pointed excitedly at a frozen waterfall shimmering in the distance, while Sophia paused, shivering slightly, her voice breaking the silence. The weather is changing. It feels colder than usual. At first, the others ignored her, absorbed in the serene beauty of the landscape. Then, a subtle vibration underfoot made them stop. A low rumble echoed through the mountains, almost imperceptible at first, but steadily growing louder, as though the snow itself was warning them of an unseen danger. Without warning, a massive avalanche roared down the mountainside, a living wall of snow and ice. Mark and Emma reacted instantly, sliding sideways toward a small ledge, narrowly avoiding being engulfed. Behind them, Leo and Sophia were swallowed by tons of compacted snow, disappearing from sight. Panic clawed at their throats as they called out, their voices muffled by the roaring storm. Mark's hands shook violently as he fumbled for his phone, the cold seizing his fingers. After several desperate attempts, he managed to reach emergency services. His voice cracked with fear. "We're trapped. 2 friends buried. Please, help. Valley coordinates unknown." The connection cut off almost immediately, but the rescue center traced the GPS coordinates. Every second mattered. The freezing cold and suffocating snow made survival a race against time. Within minutes, the Norwegian Mountain Rescue Unit sprang into action. 8 highly trained rescuers, equipped with snowmobiles, thermal scanners, and a helicopter ready for deployment, navigated toward the remote highlands. But the storm fought them at every step. The helicopter struggled against violent winds, visibility reduced to near zero, forcing ground teams to battle through waist-deep snowdrifts. Their thermal scanners flickered, highlighting faint heat signatures beneath layers of ice. Guided only by subtle cries and the faint warmth of their buried friends, the rescuers advanced with caution, every movement deliberate and tense, knowing that a single misstep could result in disaster. Hours of grueling effort brought them to the site of the avalanche. The snow was dense and compacted, almost like solid ice, requiring painstaking digging to prevent injuring Leo or Sophia. Mark and Emma hovered nearby, their faces pale with anxiety as they watched the rescuers work. The wind lashed at them, carrying the roar of shifting snow and the ever-present threat of being buried alive. Minutes dragged on, each one stretching into an eternity. Finally, Sophia was pulled free, shivering violently, her lips blue, her body nearly frozen but alive. Leo was still trapped deeper under the snow. One brave rescuer carefully tunneled through the icy mass, carving a small passage, sweat freezing on his brow. When he reached Leo, the young man was barely conscious, frost covering his hair and clothes. Mark and Emma rushed to support their friends, relief flooding their veins, even as the cold continued to gnaw at their bodies. The next challenge was escaping the avalanche zone safely. Snowmobiles groaned as they moved through snowdrifts taller than a person, visibility almost non-existent. The landscape had changed. Small ice ledges had shifted, threatening collapse. At one point, a ledge gave way under them, forcing the rescuers and friends to grasp each other desperately to prevent a deadly fall into the icy abyss below. Finally, after tense navigation, they reached the helicopter landing zone. The rotor's heat briefly melted the snow beneath them, revealing treacherous cracks in the ice. Wrapped in thermal blankets, the friends were lifted into the air, leaving the frozen danger behind. As the helicopter rose above the valley, the storm slowly abated, exposing the full scale of the disaster. The valley bore scars of shifting snow, ice cracks, and faint echoes of muffled screams, remnants of nature's violent power. Even after reaching safety, the four friends could not shake the lingering terror. Every flinch, every gust of wind reminded them of how close they had come to death. The rescuers reminded them of their fortune, emphasizing that the coordinated effort, every careful movement, and every brave decision had turned a near tragedy into a story of survival. The Norwegian Mountain Rescue Unit had demonstrated unmatched bravery, skill, and teamwork in the harshest frozen wilderness. Yet, even as they looked back at the mountains, the wind whispered softly, and the snow shifted in ominous ways, hinting that the highlands remained as unforgiving and deadly as ever.